Chapter 94, Corpse Yin Sect Part 3. Wu Yu revealed a pleading expression and quickly said, "I can't leave this place, but I would like to ask you to go to the Corpse Sect and ask my senior apprentice brother, Yizai, to come and save me." Wang Lin's expression didn't change. "Do you have a way for me to leave without being noticed by the corpse puppet?" he asked. Wu Yu quickly nodded and sincerely said, "I can use the last of my nascent energy to open up a transfer array that will take you directly to the Corpse Sect." Wang Lin stared at Wu Yu. He faintly smiled and said, "If you can open up the transfer array, why don't you go back through it?" Wu Yu sighed and said, "The corpse puppet can't go more than 100 kilometers away from me, and I can't go 100 kilometers away from him. If the corpse puppet leaves the 100-kilometer range, it would immediately die. If I still had my body, my soul would take a heavy injury, but now I am just a nascent soul. I really don't want to die with the corpse puppet." The frequency at which the statue was trembling was increasing. Wu Yu saw that Wang Lin's expression still hadn't changed. He clenched his jaw and said, "I, Wu Yu, swear on my nascent soul that I mean you no harm, so please help me, little friend. I can even gift a die to you. The 9 talismans were already on his body when I found him, and they contain unimaginable power. In addition, I can feel that your spiritual energy contains yin properties. I also use the yin method of cultivation. I assume you came here to use the yin energy for cultivation. The yin energy here is the underworld type of yin energy. If you go to the Corpse Sect, there is a cultivation spot that has earth type yin energy." Wang Lin narrowed his eyes and said, "If the Corpse Sect has a location with earth type yin energy, why did you come here to make your breakthrough?" Wu Yu gave Wang Lin a deep glance. This youth was very careful. No matter how much he tried to convince him, Wang Lin's expression didn't change at all. After hearing Wang Lin's question, he wryly smiled and said, "Little friend, I have already sworn upon my nascent soul. This corpse puppet is not the same as a living being. Every time it is about to make a breakthrough, it must absorb underworld type yin energy, so I brought it here." Just at that moment, the statue shook violently and cracks appeared all over its body. A series of crackling sounds could be heard as the cracks became larger, and the statue seemed to be about to collapse. Wu Yu's expression suddenly became very anxious and said, "Little friend, if you want to cultivate your yin technique at the Corpse Sect, you can pretend to be my disciple. I'll teleport you directly to the Corpse Sect, and they won't suspect a thing. Little friend, consider it yourself." The moment he finished speaking, the statue suddenly shook violently. The cracks now covered the entire statue, and some parts even started to fall off. Wang Lin's mind spun. He knew that if he didn't leave, his life would be in danger when that corpse puppet broke in. He instantly knew that the corpse puppet was a cold-hearted killer. Thinking about that, he nodded toward Wu Yu without a word. Wu Yu took a deep breath. Both of his hands constantly formed seals as a pentagonal ring slowly appeared before him. This ring of light emitted a rainbow color, and a small suction force could be felt. At that moment, the statue broke with a bang, and a cold voice came in. "Master, I want to see where you will run to now." Wu Yu revealed a horrified expression. Without waiting for the transfer array to completely open, he shouted, "Little friend, go quickly. Whether I survive or not is all in your hands." With that, he flew into the stone person floating in the air. At the same time, Wang Lin charged toward the transfer array. The transfer array was unstable and seemed like it might collapse. The strange person hesitated for a bit and followed Wang Lin into the transfer array. Just at that moment, the statue completely collapsed. The young man came in with a mocking smile. However, the moment he saw the transfer array, his expression drastically changed. As for Wang Lin, after he entered the transfer array, he found himself inside a tunnel. He could feel his body being stretched, and there were countless specks of lights flashing by like the stars in the sky. Wang Lin looked back. He saw a die behind him, looking left and right. After a die noticed that Wang Lin was looking at him, he shouted a few strange words toward Wang Lin. His eyes were no longer cautious of Wang Lin, but were filled with confusion. After an unknown amount of time, a light appeared at the end of the tunnel. The light became larger and larger until it covered most of the tunnel. Wang Lin and a die felt a suction force from the light and were sucked in. The Corpse Sect was a demonic sect in Zhao. Although they were weaker than the number one Sky Demon Sect, the Corpse Sect was much more mysterious. It could be said that the Corpse Sect was the number one most mysterious sect in Zhao. How many disciples the sect had, where the sect was located, how many nascent soul cultivators the sect had, and such information were all unknown to the outside world. There were even rumors that the Corpse Sect had already been completely wiped out. In short, this was a very low-profile sect, but this kind of low profile was something the world could never forget about. The only thing people knew about the Corpse Sect was their cultivation method. The disciples of the Corpse Sect only had one chance to refine a corpse. Once they refine one, they will never refine another. This was a very miraculous technique. For the Corpse Sect's disciples, besides their own cultivation, the cultivation of their corpse puppet was also important. The reason this technique was so miraculous was that 500 years ago, a Foundation establishment disciple had a nascent soul corpse puppet. Although this disciple ended up mysteriously disappearing, his appearance caused a stir in Zhao, especially among the lower-level cultivators who now dreamed of joining the Corpse Sect. But no matter how many people tried to find it, the Corpse Sect was like a floating cloud that no one could find. In a location in the far west side of Zhao was an area surrounded by yin energy all year round. Even cultivators didn't come here often. Because aside from the fact that this area was shrouded with yin energy, there was also the 9 earth energy that not even nascent soul cultivators were willing to touch. Anyone below the nascent soul stage would be injured from touching it. Supposedly, areas with this many restrictions should be hiding some sort of big treasure. This was the idea in many cultivators' heads. Finally, a few of the demonic sects got together with their experts and broke the restrictions to search the area. But what surprised everyone was that there was nothing there at all. Some of the people expanded their search to the underground and still found nothing. This treasure hunt turned into a joke. They were mocked by the orthodox sects. Gradually, due to the fact that this place had many restrictions and no treasure, it was forgotten by everyone. At the center of the plain was an area covered by fog. Inside the fog was a marsh that took up most of the area, and under the marsh was a giant cave. There were numerous tunnels connecting the giant cave to smaller caves and tunnels from those caves to others. The entire underground area was covered with big and small caves connected to each other. This was where the most mysterious demonic sect of Zhao, the Corpse Sect, was located. The largest cave in the center was the size of several of the Hengyue sect's main hall. Inside were 8 pillars of purple wood, forming a formation. There were endless waves of purple energy emitting from the wood pillars. There were countless strange symbols and patterns carved into the 8 wood pillars. There were also strings of light connecting them. If one looked at them from above, they could see that those lights formed a total of 49 rings of light. Sitting on the 8 wood pillars were 8 young men. A coffin floated behind each one of them. 5 of the rings lit up, and a youth wearing blue and a coffin appeared in the cave. One of the 8 youths on the pillars opened his eyes and looked at the person who had just arrived. He spoke with no emotion in his voice at all. "Where did you came from?" The blue-robed youth quickly bowed and said, "Rank 2 Cultivation Country Lu Corpse Sect Branch. I, Linyi, am here to participate in the promotion exam." The youth coldly glanced at the person and said, "The 18th cave to the right, go." The blue-robed youth respectfully clasped his hands and exited the formation. Afterward, he calculated for a bit and entered a cave. The youth on the pillar slightly nodded. He no longer minded the blue-robed youth and closed his eyes. Within the next several hours, more people came out of the transfer array. The strongest person to come caused 13 rings to light up. The moment the 13 rings lit up, 2 of the 8 youths opened their eyes. Time slowly passed. The rings in the formation lit up again. This time it was 6 rings. A youth on a wood pillar opened his eyes. Just at that moment, there was a sudden flash of light and 7 more rings lit up. "What is this?" At that moment, another youth opened his eyes. The 2 looked at each other, then carefully looked at the formation. Shortly after, the formation flashed again, and the amount of rings to light up increased from 13 to 28. "It seems there is a senior coming here." 2 more youths opened their eyes. There was a hint of respect in the four youths' cold gazes as they stared at the formation. The moment that was said, there was a rumbling sound coming from the formation as the number of rings of light that were lit up increased from 28 one by one. The remaining four youths opened their eyes with shocked expressions. When 40 rings lit up, the 8 of them stood up, kneeled down on one knee, and formed a strange sign as they said, "Welcome, Senior."